Hello everybody, welcome to my live stream palmistry Q&A, streaming to you live from the sunny Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Welcoming everybody from all over the world to come and watch and join in for a palmistry Q&A. Do you have questions? You're welcome to ask here. We discuss everything about the hands and the palm lines, things that might worry you or things that you know. You're also welcome to join if you're a palm reader. Give us your information. Excuse me. Don't be shy, say hi. You can support me by sending stars. Stars help me to make more content. You can support me by subscribing and joining my channel. Members get special perks. You can go to my join this channel section on YouTube and you can see where you can become a member. There's various levels depending on what you need. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/@palmreadings or /Destiny Palmistry, or you can put my name in there, Sari Puhaka. That's also there. I have some books available. I've got links to all my books on Amazon. I've got my Life and Destiny Palmistry books. There's book 1, there's book 2. Book 3 is called Life and Destiny Palmistry. I have that older version. The new version has a different cover now. Has a more sort of a modern cover, similar to my Manifesting Dreams to Reality book. Check that out. I've got good reviews on that one so far. Nothing to do with palmistry, that one, but it's nice and motivational. But Life and Destiny Palmistry is out in hardcover, paperback, Kindle book. You can even get a PDF document version of this on my website. And that is actually the cheapest way to buy it, because the website, obviously the PDF is cheaper than actual physical book. So you can go and check them out. Hello Shah, yes I remember. Double Simian, welcome. Happy to discuss Simians again today, if that's what we want to do. Have you seen my book? The Simian line, Conversations. One day I will make a bigger version of this. Currently the paperback copy has 117 pages. So it's quite a small book by comparison to the over 300 pages in the other one. But this Simian line book is available on Amazon as well. I have the links to it on my YouTube channel. I've got this available on PDF as well on my website. I've got it on paperback. Not sure if it's on hardcover yet, but Kindle book as well, if you want to just get a Kindle version of it. I will be revising it for more content, or actually I'll be writing a whole new book rather than revising this one. But yeah, that's available if anyone's interested. What else have I got here? I've got a whole stack of books beside me right now, but yeah. Who else we got joining us today? Not many people have joined us so far, so you're more likely to get your questions answered. So any questions that you have. Sorry, it's a bit warm in here. I didn't open the place up. Typical Australia. I think I'm also streaming to Facebook. People on Facebook, welcome to chat. And also should be streaming to TikTok. I did organize it and I hope that that's streaming to TikTok. So people on TikTok, if you are here, welcome to my palmistry Q&A. If you have questions about anything to do with the palm lines, and I will bring up a picture. I'm just going to make sure that my chat is working. It looks like my chat's multi-streaming. I'll bring up a picture and we can potentially talk about different lines. We might go to this Simian line first, seeing as how we have Shah with us. I have a Simian line picture here somewhere. There we go, that one will do. A nice, very prominent Simian line there because it's quite thick. As you can tell, like for instance, these other lines here, that line it's quite a thin line. Even parts of this lifeline along here, along that way, seem a little bit like a thin line. So when you compare to the other lines there, that Simian line is quite thick. And that's like typical because it is essentially the headline and the heart line as one line instead of, you know, two separate lines. And you have a thunderbolt-like sign on the right hand in the middle of the Simian line. So you probably have, this is the left hand. So on your right hand, I'm just trying to potentially, so you probably mean like thunderbolt. So the Simian line essentially probably just has branches on it. So if that's the case, the lines leaving like that, okay. So yeah, so these lines that are leaving the Simian line are, you can imagine it as energy escaping from all that tension, because the Simian line represents such intensity. Imagine a rope pulled tight and there's all that energy running through the one line. And so that represents that focused, kind of almost obsessive one track kind of a mind. And when you have these branches, that's allowing a release of some of that energy. It's allowing a creative energy to come out. It's allowing your rational thought. It's all of those energy separating from the Simian. So that, I suppose, the one on the lower half would represent the headline. So the mind. So that would represent your thoughts. And the one up the top, this would represent your heart line. That represents more of the emotions and how you sort of show your feelings, how you express your feelings. So it's showing that expression of feeling is there and the expression of rational thought is there. And possibly creativity, depending on how far it goes down to this area. This area is called the Mount of Moon. And that represents, excuse me, I've been talking a lot. That represents the nurturing, it represents creativity, deep thoughts, it represents your intuition, represents your empathy, your maternal instincts, your, I suppose, all the things that the moon represents. It helps if you know a little bit about astrology, because that's how we name parts of these of the hand. So if it reaches all the way down there, then that gives that deep thought, creativity, but also potential for moodiness, because the moon, especially like a full moon, can bring the moods out. So that shows someone who could be vulnerable to things like depression. So you have to be aware of that and make sure that you use your energy in a creative way, a creative outlet, rather than moodiness. And rather than letting your moods take over, you put it to good use. So your headline is bigger than heartline. The heartline is cut off a little bit on the middle, and there's a minor gap, and then 80% of the heartline starts. Okay. Yeah, that sounds interesting. I don't think you can post pictures in the chat, but I do have, I think, my post section on YouTube. I think there might be a section in there where you can post pictures. Are you in my Facebook group? I have the Simian line study group, and I have a double Simian group on Facebook. People post their pictures there and can ask me questions there as well, which is quite handy. So yes, I'll just remove these, because this person, you can see that they've got just a little line here, and they've got just a little line here. So that's kind of similar little energy things. So you're saying you're vulnerable to depression, and when you started to use drugs, it took me over and wasn't able to handle the energy. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of like not, when you take to drugs, I think that's not finding an outlet for that energy. So you're keeping that energy to yourself, and you're wallowing in it, I suppose. So the way to come out of it is to just find more stuff to do. Just get busy, hold your head up high and be happy to let that creativity or that feeling out in something that's going to be productive for you. Staying productive, staying busy is super important to stop feeling that depressed state, because I've been through it myself, and I used to run. I can't run now because my legs, but I have a bicycle. If I feel like shit, I get on my bicycle and I go for a ride, and I come back and wow, it's like it clears your brain and it feels so much better. So exercise also helps. If you don't create, if you're not a creative person, if you don't have that creative energy, getting physical, getting outside in some fresh air. Yeah. So you start at age 17, went off like the friends used to do them before, were shocked at the amount. Oh, okay. How do you have this tolerance? Yeah. Yeah, some people more tolerant than others, for sure. It helps if you don't have the money to buy the stuff. Oh, I can't. Yeah, I can't. I can't say too much, but yeah. Very good. Who have we got online here? I'm going to see. I'm just going to click over to the other scene, back to the normal scene to see if I can see who we got. Who do we have? We got four. We got four, I think, on 6 on YouTube. Do we have any on TikTok? Any Facebook? I'm not sure if it's showing any TikTok comments. I'm going to have to go there afterwards. I've not streamed to TikTok before. It's my first time, so it's all a learning curve, learning how to be a streamer, learning how to stream. So what else do we want to talk about? Anyone got other questions? I'll bring up that Simian line picture again so we can potentially draw on that when people have questions. I'll clear those lines off there. And that's another thing too. Very, very common for people with a Simian line just to have these like a floating lines up the top here, and they can be called a girdle of Venus, like a partial girdle. A full girdle of Venus looks like this. That's a full girdle, but a partial girdle of Venus can just look like a piece of line here and a piece of line there. It's a partial girdle of Venus, but also a girdle of Venus can be a great big long line across the whole sort of palm. And in this one, because it's kind of a bit lower, I call this a floating heart line rather than a girdle of Venus, but it has a similar meaning. It adds sensitivity to the personality. Welcome, Rebecca. You said you have a cross above your heart line. So say if you have a heart line here, cross above it in between your Mercury and Apollo finger. Next to the success line. So this is the success line above the heart line. So you're saying it's kind of like low up here or way up high up here? So I suppose it depends where. So you're saying it's next to the success line, so that means it's possibly, if it's, look at on the mount, the Mercury mount usually is quite big and it comes across over to under the ring finger a little bit. So if the cross is in that area, that's representing the Mercury mount. Even if it's down low, I forgot that there's meant to have a heart line there because this picture's a Simian line and a head line. So let's pretend that's the heart line and a head line. So that is on the Mercury mount. So if it's touching the heart line, but you're saying it's above the heart line, so it's not touching. I keep accidentally crossing it out. Okay, let's try again. Let's try again. Stop crossing it out. So success line, bosh, above the heart line. Let's go. Something like that. So if it's sitting by itself, just loose. Look, I've got the book open on my crosses. Look at that. How coincident. Woo. My book, Destiny Palmistry 2, All the Lines, is my favorite book because everything's in color and easy to understand. I've had a lot of good reviews saying they can understand it well. So that I suppose is not quite exactly the same as if it's directly on the Mercury mount. That can represent difficulty, problems in business or communication. Traditionally, if it's over here on the Mercury mount, that represents dishonesty. But if it's shifted over more to the towards the success line, that I suppose, if there's no other line there, that can represent just difficulties in a combination of creative and business coming together. It's probably, you have the book. Okay, cool. Number 3, yes, that's Life and Destiny Palmistry. Not this cover. Anyone can buy this cover, but this is this one with my fingerprints all over it. You can buy this one, but the one out now is a different cover and it's revised. This is the first version, and so there's not many of them around. That's a bit of a special one. I have one even older than that. That's a signed copy. But anyway, let's get back to that cross. So crosses in general are representing a problematic area. So it's highlighting a difficulty. It's not as big a deal as a star, but because it's a cross, it's literally highlighting that area. Sometimes if it's more like an X, well, that kind of looks like an X, doesn't it? So the X or cross can sort of bring out the positive qualities of that mount. If it's on the line directly, then that's an obstacle. That's saying, here's a difficult period and you have to get through this difficult period. On its own, it's more like, instead of a period, a difficult period, it's more like something in your personality is a little bit holding back, like you could be doing more. So looking at it from that perspective, is it more on the Apollo mount, or is it more on the Mercury mount? The Mercury mount is more to do with business, intimacy, communication, technology, things like literature, writing. So, and if it's right in between the both, it's combining the creative social side. So the Apollo is about your social life, your creativity, your ideal look of things, like how you like things, like your trend, your style, and all about your I suppose, not so much your ego, but how you like to show off what you have. And so if that's got across, it's, I suppose, making you feel like you're not at your best in your social life or your creative life or your sense of style. And like the other way, that could relate to your work. You're saying you're having trouble at work, so the cross could be representing your work life, especially if the work issue is communication. Are you having trouble communicating with the bosses or the co-workers? Is there communication problems? That kind of thing. So those kind of crosses can come and go too, by the way. More on the Apollo mount, though the bottom of the cross is just touching the heart line. Okay. When the lines touch the heart line, that can be something different altogether. So heart line, success line, because the lines rising from it, if it's actually touching, that's an upward branch. So say if you have a passion, some kind of a passion in life, you love gardening, I don't know, just whatever your passion is, this is showing that you have a release of your heartfelt desire. It could be a passion for a person. It could mean that, oh, you're passionate about your partner and this is a positive time with your partner or a positive time with whatever you're passionate about. So these branches rising from there represent that. If so happens to be that there's a line crossing it, that's an obstacle to your passion, your inspiration line. Oh, they don't like your blunt honesty. Oh, oops, yeah. Oh, well. Well, some people should appreciate your honesty, because that's your honesty, that's your opinion, and maybe they just don't agree with your opinion, because we're all different people, and my blunt honesty to someone else is going to be rude, but to me it's my blunt honesty. So I understand where you're coming from. If I want to be bluntly honest, I don't expect people to agree with me at all. I actually expect a bit of a comeback, but I try to tippy-toe around people who are sensitive. Tiptoe around them. It's like, I don't want to rock the boat. But yes, so if there is a line, if one of those lines is touching the heart line, it could be the other way as well. That can represent, like say, instance, that is if it rises towards the pinky, that's called a business line. The money line, I call it, or business line. I know people in India and other areas of the world have different names for different parts of the lines, and they call them sun lines, success lines, luck lines, money lines. But my version of a money line is the same as a business line. I don't call the success line the money line. I don't call the fate line the money line. I call this line that rises towards the little finger, I call that a money line or a business line. And that too, if it has a crossing, then that can represent an obstacle. Money obstacle, business obstacle, like you say, work obstacle. Welcome, Luna. Your job got cancelled. Oh, Oh, that's not good. It's good that you can join us today, but I suppose it's not good if your job got cancelled. It's warm here. I forgot to turn the fan on and I forgot to open my windows. So excuse me for sweating in this Queensland heat. So we've had a few good discussions so far. I don't know if Shah is still with us. We were discussing the Simian lines. Then we were discussing Rebecca's cross that she has between her heart line and well, between the Mercury and Apollo fingers. So yeah, so that's how we explained those. We were drawing here a headline and the difference between that. We got a Simian line, one that goes just across. I've seen people with a Simian line and they have a headline and a heart line as well. So that's a bit of a everything going on hand. So very good. Do I do face-to-face readings? Yes, I do. I certainly do, but I travel up to an hour and a half maximum from my place. So I do Brisbane, as far as north side Brisbane. South of Brisbane I go right down to the Gold Coast, and west of Brisbane I go as far as Ipswich. So all around the Brisbane Gold Coast area. Otherwise people can come to me for face-to-face readings, and I also do Zoom Meet, not Zoom, Google Meet. Google or Zoom, it doesn't matter, much of a muchness. On my website I've got a calendar for booking Google Meet video readings, so people send me their palm pictures via email, and then we organize the video meet, and I prepare the questions. So I need the questions and palm photos in advance, and so I can look at the questions, look at the hands, and then when we have the meeting, I'm prepared for it so that it doesn't go too long, because I only like to do them for 30 minutes. It's $85 for 30 minutes for the video meet. And yeah, my face-to-face readings, I do charge for travel if I need to travel. Hello Moggy from the UK, welcome to our live stream. What time is it in the UK now? We're at 11:35 a.m. in Australia, Brisbane right now. Have you got questions? I'm happy to answer questions. I do have a reading today. I've got a big reading to do today. I've got one that was ordered online, and it's one where I get the person's photo and I mark everything on it, and then I type up everything that I see. 2:30 a.m. That's not late, that's early. That's a morning. Wow. Okay, so you've been up all night. That's when it's late, if you've been up all night at 2:35. So I would have to suit UK time, I would have to do my live streams either a lot later or a lot earlier to match to match those times. Yeah. But yeah, Rebecca, if you want to go to my website, I do have pages there where you can check out my readings, the types of readings I have, the prices, and there's on my palm, one of my palm, the face-to-face 30-minute reading page or the price page, there's a form you can fill out to query a time and date for a reading. And yeah, so you can actually like fill out the form for when you would like to do the face-to-face reading, whether you have a video one or whether you come to me. Depends on where you are. I'm assuming you're in Australia, Rebecca. You stayed up to watch me. You had nana nap for 6 hours. Oh, and nana nap for 6 hours. That's my normal nap. That's my normal. I sleep 3 hours, then I wake up, and I sleep another 3, and then I wake up, and that's it for me. I'm too old to sleep, too busy. That's probably why I look so tired all the time. People say, "Oh, you look tired. Are you okay?" I said, "No, I'm tired." But yeah, that's life. So, who's got questions for me before my robot comes in to talk? And I wonder if I am streaming on. Wonder if I am streaming on the what do you call it? TikTok. I hope so. 15 hours straight. Oh, poof. You're like my son. My son can sleep that long, I reckon. But no, definitely. You must be young. You must be young. I think when you get old, you just don't sleep well anymore. Yeah. So have you got questions for me? We had a good live on Tuesday, a couple of days ago, and that was pretty good. If you're a member, if you've joined my channel, you can go and see the replay of that. It's very interesting. Oh, you're 55. How do you sleep? What's going on? Oh, you must be healthy. Oh, you're in Sydney. I've had people come to see me from Sydney. No joke. I felt honored that they came all the way from Sydney to see me. But then they said, "Oh, they own a house on the Gold Coast anyway as well." Like, yeah, righto. So they own a house in Sydney and they own another one in the Gold Coast, and they were coming to check out their house on the Gold Coast and thought they'd call into Brisbane on the way for a palm reading, and that was really good. Yeah, it's a bit of a drive. I'll be driving through Sydney next year. I'm going all the way to Victoria, and Tasmania, so get ready to see. If you follow me on Facebook, get ready to see lots of travel photos soon. So yeah, good fun. Yeah. So what do you want to talk about? I keep coughing, so I've got a throat lolly. I'll see if I can bring up another picture. I've got this Simian line here because we were discussing that at first with Shah. I don't know if Shah's still on with us, or if he's left the scene, so to speak. Let's see if I can bring up another picture. What's this one? Oh, they all look like left-hand pictures. Moggy, you have little crosses on your right palm and M markings on both hands, triangles. Well, the M, I get this. Oh, wow. I get this this whole M thing all the time, it's, well, it's not real palmistry just to look at an M. So usually the M is formed by different lines. So lifeline, headline, fate line, heart line. That's one. Then there sometimes is the lifeline. Then there's a health line. There's crisscrossing of lines. It's usually the fate line. So they're just coincidental when you have a M marking. So usually means that you have a partial fate line or success line here that has, I suppose, not started till a certain age. So say if you have the, whoops, I missed that. Say if you have your headline and you have only a short fate line and it hits the heart line, and then you have the heart line. Sometimes the fate line can be like shifted over. That's the lifeline. Sometimes this fate line moves, but no matter what, if it comes from this line, that represents around age 35 when your career or your motivation really kicks in. So that's a sign of becoming more goal orientated around the age 35. Sometimes it crisscrosses like that. So that means the motivations are from an earlier age. On this hand, the fate line starts from the very base of the palm. So their goals in life were set at an early age. Lifeline isn't that long. Yeah, many times that M looks like that because the lifeline's not very long. So it can actually run into the fate line itself. Sometimes there's a little branches that join to the fate line. So it's actually the lifeline running like a fate line. I actually have that on my hand as well. So the short lifeline just represents someone who's not so grounded, not set in traditional ways. You probably don't follow your family tradition. You probably like to travel. You're a free thinker. You probably don't sit still for very long, except 15 hours straight at night. But no, a short lifeline just means a little bit more freedom loving, I suppose, and not sort of set in traditional ways. Because imagine this base of the palm is the earth and this lifeline is a tree. Well, if it's grounded, the roots go all the way to the ground. It's grounded. So when it's short, the person's not that grounded, not that stable. So there's a little bit of instability there. And so with the headline, if you have a short headline, if you have a short fate line and then another short heart line, that can form a perfect kind of an M. So what was your other question? Little crosses. Little crosses on both hands, triangles. So I'm not sure what you mean by little crosses or where the crosses are. But we had a short discussion about crosses before. probably before you came up, I've got my book, Destiny Palmistry 2, All the Lines. It's book 2. It's got lots of pictures, and it's got, like, which one are we looking at? This one. It's got explanation of the crosses on the different parts of the hand. And I've got another one for stars, squares, triangles, and all other markings as well, and what they can mean. But so the cross represents obstacles and difficult periods. So things that are a little bit things that might be overactive, or things that might be little problem areas. So depending on where exactly that cross is. And so I don't know how much you know about palmistry, but we look at the various areas of the palm, like the moon mount, the Venus mount, Mercury, Apollo, Saturn, Jupiter, all these mounts, and Mars's, they all have meanings in personality. So if the marks are on one of these mounts, we look at the meaning of the mount. So the cross then would represent something negative about it, or there's a problem area in whether in the personality or an actual situation. So like, for instance, on the Mount of Venus, that might affect your love of life. It might represent your love life, your intimacy side. It might show some problems with feeling, I suppose, not sentiment, what's the other word? I've lost words. Anyway, something like sentimentality, like feeling sentiment, feeling romantic. So that might be an obstacle in romance. Business obstacle over here under the pinky. Funny enough, though, a cross under the index finger is supposed to represent a good marriage, or marriage to someone who's a good partner. And yeah, so it depends on where they are as to what they mean. So triangles too, they can represent boosts. If there's a triangle on a line, that kind of represents a boost to that area. So on the headline, it might be a boost to your intelligence. So say if you go to university and you got your degree in whatever, so that is representing a boost to that side. On the success line, if there's a triangle, that might represent a boost in reputation, fame, finances. Same as on the lifeline. A triangle there is like a flag. That might represent a boost in finances as well. So yeah, so if they're just crossing lines, coincidental triangle, like for instance, here's some lines crossing. You got the headline, you got the fate line, and you got the health line. That makes a triangle. That doesn't mean anything. Some people make up meanings for that, but it doesn't really mean anything. So Moggy said, spot on with what you said. What's the difference between the left and right hand regarding how to interpret, to read the palms? Yeah, so I'm just going to cross this out. I'm going to go back to my live scene for a minute. So so that my thingy's up there, my chat box. So people can see my chat box. I'll try and move it a little bit. Where is it? Hello, chat box. You want to make it a little bit bigger. There. Yeah, so left and right hand regarding how to interpret the palms. The crosses are everywhere and it makes sense. Yeah, so okay, so if you have the crosses everywhere, okay, that represents in general across the board you probably allow too much negative energy to penetrate your mind. You have a very active mind, likely overactive mind. You likely overthink things, and maybe quite sensitive to, like I said, your not only vibrations from other people but potentially your environment as well. So, maybe, I don't know, if you do meditation or take long walks in nature, but you probably need to form at least in your mind an invisible barrier, a protection from other people's energies. And these crosses, I call these crosses fear lines. It's like little attacks of fear here and there. So it could be just through negative thinking, but like we'd have to have a discussion about it. I'd have to see where it seems to be worse than others. Regarding the left and right hand, the left hand is kind of what we are on the inside, or what we have thought about ourselves in the past, how you thought things might turn out, or how things were felt on an inner plane. And the dominant hand, if that's your right hand, whichever one is your dominant hand, that then represents the physical, what actually has kind of been happening. So, for instance, you might have a perfectly clean, straight lifeline on your non-dominant hand. So, as you were growing up, you thought that you were going to follow this path and stick to the same path, and no diversions, no changes. But then things didn't turn out that way, and your dominant hand might have some breaks or branches from that lifeline, showing the difference on the changes that have happened for it to change your future or your present. So that's how we look at health from the hands as well. We look at if the non-dominant hand has more marks than the dominant hand, it shows that the health has been improving. So if they're both the same, then what's going on the inside has been manifested in the real world, and not much change has happened. So you look to your dominant hand for current changes on what's potentially happening, like if you're looking at health or whether you're looking at general life. But we look at all the lines. We don't just look at the one line. We look for marks all over the hand, and the more marks there are, the more easily the person is like stressed out. So hope that makes sense. And we didn't have Jeannie join us today. I had a chat with her earlier. She's one of my members. And RW didn't join today either. He's one of my members. I wonder, it's going to be exciting to see if this is streaming to TikTok or not. I should open my TikTok and have a look. I don't know. It says it was going to stream to TikTok, but I don't know if I'm able to actually answer their comments. So, okay, so you're left-handed and the crosses are more on the right hand. That makes sense then. So if they're more on your right hand, which is your non-dominant hand, that then tells me that things have been improving. So what you feel on the inside potentially is not what's actually happening, and or it shows improvement in your current period or for the future as well. So continue watching your dominant hand, your left hand, to see if they start improving, because they do change. They change over time. So
I had to respond
whoop,
to this.
shush. So I'm not sure if I'm going live. It's probably not. I don't think I've set it up properly. But anyway, not to worry. One day I might have to just do separate live for TikTok. We'll see what happens. At the moment, we've got about 2 minutes left before I sign off. And if anyone's got any other questions, happy to answer any questions. Have we got anyone on Facebook today? Probably not. YouTube, people tend to come to YouTube because that's the link that I set up anyway. So any more questions before I sign out? Counting down 2 minutes on the dot. I have a reading to do today, so I've got busy schedule. But yeah, consider joining my channel on YouTube. Hit the join button and see the various levels. That helps me keep doing this content, which does not pay unless I get some members. And or if you want to get a palm reading yourself, check out my website, destinypalmistry.com. I have many various links there, options for where you can find out about my readings and how to get a reading. If you're in the Brisbane area, we can have a face-to-face reading. If not, we can do readings via video call, or I can do email readings. Just send me your photos and I can type up the reading in a PDF document. And that's another way. Or you can purchase my books, which are available Amazon and my website, PDF documents. You get all the links are on my YouTube channel, on the description of my channel, and I usually have them in the description under all my videos as well. So it looks like we don't have any more questions. Looks like time is up. And I shall come back again next week. I will put the schedule for the next live up on my YouTube. If you go and click on that live link, and it should come up on their upcoming streams once I've put one up there. And I'll see if I can do one at a different time to cater for different parts of the world. so we can potentially get those ones that are normally sleeping at this time. But anyway, thank you so much for joining, and thanks for the questions. I hope you had fun, and we'll see you again next time. Signing off. Bye.